Hey everybody, I'm here with Big Tiki Dude, Jeff Hanson, who is putting on his monthly pier shows at Huntington Beach Pier Plaza. How are you, Jeff?
I'm very good. I'm tired. I'm excited. I'm drained. God, what's that? What are the lyrics for that song? I'm high, but I'm overwhelmed. Was it Alanis Morissette?
Oh, the
What was
ironic
that?
song?
No, not the ironic one. The other one is I'm high and I'm overwhelmed and I'm a graham cracker and I don't know. Go on.
Well, what I want to ask you
Uh,
about is there's a huge thing you're doing that we'll
yeah.
talk
So
about at another time, but we want to talk about the
for
pier shows.
yeah, for everybody that's seen one video and not the other one, we're going to record two. One is for the Pier Show, and one is for the Surf Guitar 101 convention, which we just announced bigly, bigly, a couple days ago. We announced it 2 months ago, but the flyer just came out, and the hotel sold out, and the tickets are selling very, very fast. So anyways, we're going to talk about the pier shows, the Huntington Beach pier shows right now. We're going to talk about the Surf Guitar 101 convention in the other video. But so anyways, the convention is doing huge. So that's why I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. But I'm happy.
But do you have more this year of the pier shows?
Yeah, 7 pier shows. It's most ever. So it's April through October. And you have the dates right there in front of you, right?
Yeah, April 16th, May 21st, June 25th, July 16th, August 20th, September 24th, October 8th. That's quite a run.
Yeah, and Ryan will put those here. Let me do it like you do. Ryan
Like
will
I
put
do.
those. No, I know, but he'll put them in the description of the video later. People always do that. And it's funny. So now I get to do it down below.
That's a YouTuber thing.
Yeah. You know what else is down below?
Jeff, keep it clean.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep it family friendly. No, I'm talking about my big belly.
Oh, right.
We got to liven this shit up, man. Oh, sorry.
Oh, see, you just did it. So, all right. First of all, the pier shows are outside for people who don't know. Tell them what kind of experience they're gonna have. This is different than your average show.
Yeah. For those who missed the previous video I did about the pier shows, the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum does Surfin Sundays once a month. We used to do shows in the parking lot at the Surfing Museum, but then they built condos across the street and we had to stop doing the shows there. And the city said, take it down to the pier. And actually, by doing the shows at the pier, we can charge all the vendors who set up at the top, the big flat area. People have these pop-up tents that are like 10 by 10 squares, and they sell all different kinds of beachy paraphernalia and stuff, art and clothing and jewelry and stuff like that. And we charge each vendor $100 per spot, and all those vendors, all that money goes to fund the surfing museum. And the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum is a nonprofit, and it's always on the verge of closing. So these pier shows help them make money. When we used to do the shows in the parking lot, between 5 and 50 people would show up, and we would say, if you want to make a donation to the museum, go in and put some dollars in the little tip box. So we'd make between $5 and $50 per day. Now we make $5,000 per pier show.
Wow.
By having all those vendors. So that's a good thing. And then this year, because we have 7, that's the most ever. Usually we have between 4 and 6 pier shows, but this year we got all of them, got 7. One, we had to change the date because Huntington's doing a big event, and so we had to move it by 2 weeks. But other than that, everything was on schedule. We shall see. Of course, we always put a little asterisk at the bottom, all shows subject to cancellation for weather or
right,
because they're all outside at the Pier Plaza. So it's this little area with cement and grass, and it's terraced, and the city brings a metal trailer that opens up into like a clamshell type of stage. So if it's a light rain, the bands don't get wet or electrocuted, but the crowd might get a bit of mist on them. But I think in the last 10 years or so, we've only had 2 or 3 get rained out. Because usually, you
Wow.
know, there's not much rain here except for, of course, this year. So we have our first pier show this coming Sunday, and today was cold and cloudy with a little bit of mist, and I'm hoping it clears up. You know, we don't want the show to get rained out, but I think the forecast is okay.
Cool. So
So
this is
fingers crossed.
officially called Surfing Sundays.
Surfing Sundays,
Surfing Sundays. And you can check
and it's
the previous interview and then check this one out, because this one is this year is the 25th anniversary. Am I correct?
yeah, 25th anniversary of pier shows. There was Surfing Sundays that started, I believe it was 94 or so, before I started going in the winter of 97. But yeah, I think they started 94 or 95. So, but it's 25 years of pier shows, you know, Surfing Sundays. So there's some technicality in there. But anywho, we used to have 4 pier shows a year, and then there would be some museum shows interspersed. It would go back and forth, but now it's only pier shows. And when we first started doing pier shows, there was only 4 bands, and now we're up to 7 bands. So it starts at 11 and goes until
Wow.
6 p.m.
Nice.
So we do 1 band per hour on the hour.
So your first show, I'm sure you know offhand, is this Sunday. Who's playing that show? So our viewers can get there.
Yeah. Well, first thing is I always post the lineup of bands on Surf Guitar 101 in the show announcements area, because that's something where I can go in and edit it. Because we always have cancellations. The
Okay.
last few years, between 1 and 2 bands per pier show will cancel, you know, because I book it in February, and you know, and sometimes it's months and months away, you know, stuff comes up, you
Yeah.
know, so sometimes we have to, you know, of course, you know, the bands don't get paid, they're donating their time. We do have a tip bucket on the stage if you want to throw some money in, you know, they would appreciate that. Helps to cover gas and stuff like that. But you know, the museum's not paying the bands, they're donating their time to help the museum stay open. So it's one of those things where we've never really talked about it, but now we have the tip bucket, we talk about it. And actually, especially since COVID's, you know, going away, people are happy to go out and experience, you know, live music, and it's safe, you know, because it's outside, you're not in an enclosed area. So a lot of people are throwing money in the tip bucket like crazy, and the bands are doing fairly well.
Awesome.
So, and then of course the bands also have tables to sell merchandise, you know, CDs and records and t-shirts and stuff like that. But yeah, the lineup for this coming Sunday, we have a new band that we've never had before. They're called Gramps with Amps.
Nice.
And of course, that's Gramps as in grandpas, and amps as in amplifiers. So they're older guys. I think they do all cover songs. I saw a couple of videos, and they're pretty good. So it's a friend of mine's uncle and some of his friends. But yeah, they're all over like 65. So Gramps with amps. Then we have, I believe it's Matt Hooray and the Thrashers. And I'm going from memory because I don't have the flyer. There's no physical flyer. It's only digital. Do you know some of them?
The
Have you
blow
seen it?
floaters?
Yeah, Bloat Floaters from Northern California. Thank you. And then we have, uh, shoot, there's one more local band. Do you have it or not? Are you
I'm
going to
gonna
pull it up?
I'm gonna pull it
I
up.
know that Lorenzo, aka Surfer Joe, he's the headliner. He closes out the day. He's in town for the NAM convention, but NAM isn't on Sunday anymore. So I figured he's here. I ought to offer him a Sunday or a pier show, because he
Yeah,
hasn't
that's
done
awesome.
one in about 10 years.
Kelp.
Ah, yeah, Kelp from Santa Barbara is coming down.
Yeah.
So I think it's Gramps with Amps, then Kelp, then Bloat Floaters, then Matt Hooray and the Thrashers, then Surfer Joe. So it starts at 11:30 and goes till 6.
And how long are the sets primarily?
Usually a normal one is 45 minutes with 15 minutes in between, but because there's only 5 bands, it's each band will get 1 hour, and it's 20 minutes between. So it was hard to get, you know, 7 bands for the April show. Nobody wanted to do it, so I just barely finished getting, you know, 5 bands together for this. So I figured that's good for April. You know, a lot of times nobody shows up early in the morning, so we started at 11:30 instead of 11.
So something that in the future, if bands would want to come and play Surfing Sundays, you provide a backline, is that correct?
No, 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 no.
So they have to bring their own amps.
If a band comes from far away and they need gear, I can ask another band, but we try not to do that if we don't have to. But if we got an international band or a band from like NorCal or Vegas or another state far away, we can ask, and it's happened. But for the Surf Guitar 101 convention, we provide the backline because that's 12 bands all day long. For the PIER shows, especially because most of the bands are local, they like to play through their own gear. So we they provide their own, or not provide their, but they bring their own instruments. So, but yeah, there's 15 minutes, per changeover. So it's pretty military. We got it dialed in pretty good.
When I was there for SG 101 convention last year, I got to go visit the Huntington Beach Pier and in the museum, and it's just a magical place. Like,
well, it's even better when there's bands playing.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, yeah. But I mean,
not to rub it in, we used to do PIER shows the day after the convention. So there'd be a convention inside, and then there would be a PIER show the day after.
wow.
But there was a lot of people that were only going to the PIER show, and they would see half of the bands from the convention, and they were okay with that because they didn't want to pay to go to the convention. So me and a couple of friends, we realized that we got to stop doing that, because if you have a band coming from really far away, they need to make money to pay for their trip, flights and hotel and car rental and all that stuff. So then what we started doing was, on the day after the convention, we would do a smaller show at another bar, and all the bands would play alternate sets. So there was incentive for the people that did go to the convention to see both sets, because they get to see different songs. And anybody that went, they had to pay, X amount on Saturday and X amount on Sunday, where there was no free show. Of course, some of the people that only go to PIER shows were upset about that, but hey, sometimes you got to pay to play.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So being this excited, you started this in February. That's when it was all booked.
Roundabouts, yeah.
And
Well, actually, I got the dates. I want to say November or December. It was the earliest we've ever gotten the dates. I was flabbergasted to get them so early, but I waited until after New Year's, with the holidays and stuff, to start booking it. And I was kind of dragging my feet a little bit, and I was also doing the Winter Surf Fest, which was the first weekend of February, and then I was also working on booking the surf convention, and all that stuff. So it was like 2 or 3 things all at the same time. It was a little overwhelming. But I was like, man, I got to get because the April show was coming up, so I started booking all the bands for the PIER shows, and nobody was wanting to do April. So then I started like begging and pleading with some of the bands. I was like, look, play the April one, and then I'll put you on a list where if anybody cancels later in the year, you can do one of those also. Everyone wants to play when it's nice, warm, summertime,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Tell me once again. Tell me about that painting in the background.
Oh, this one up here. Well, I don't know if it's a painting per se, or if it's just colored pencils, or if it's computer art. But it's the inside of a woody. Here, I'll not zoom in, but I'll move the camera closer for people to see it. It's the inside of a woody, and it's driving up PCH, which is Pacific Coast Highway, for those who don't live in California. And it's going from SoCal to NorCal, and there's like the beach, and then there's like, I think, redwood trees or something. And then if you look in the rearview mirror, it's like paradise or sunset in the rearview mirror. And then there's, of course, there's a Fender guitar, there. And they even have I forget what it's called. What's the little knob that goes on the steering wheel that's illegal to use now?
Oh, the suicide knob?
Yeah, suicide knob. So it's the inside of an old woody. I want to say like early, late 30s, early 40s for the woodies.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, it's nice to look at that and think, oh yeah, paradise.
Well,
that's you got to. How long are you coming out for the convention? We're jumping all over the place here.
I'm coming out Thursday and leaving Monday.
Oh boy. So what time on Monday are you leaving?
like 11.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be able to do it. It's always nice to cruise the coast and listen to surf music at the same time.
Oh, I've driven that many times.
Oh yeah, that's right. You used to live in NorCal, so. But yeah, but did you listen to surf while you were doing it?
Mostly like Behemoth or Overkill or something like that.
No, I'm saying you need to drive along the coast in California while listening to surf music. Period. So this is something taking you to the airport. I know of an area that we can go drive along the coast for a while, so you can get that experience.
Awesome.
I used to go down to San Diego to go see a show, and I would cruise along going south on Highway 1 and stop at some record stores and Mexican food places and stuff, but everyone's like, why don't you take the freeway? I'm like, no, cruising the coast.
Yeah, man, that is
My
quite, especially like in the Central Coast, like San Luis Obispo, and places like that.
or Big Sur. Like, did
Big
you ever do
Sur.
Highway 1
Yep.
between San Luis Obispo and Monterey? That's awesome.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful in the wintertime because they have all those mudslides and stuff that cover the highway.
Yeah.
Sorry, something's in my eye.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for talking about Surfing Sundays. Remember, everybody, April 16th, this Sunday is the first one, and
Yeah,
one every month until October.
Yeah, once a month on a Sunday. And for those dates, he'll have it below, but you can also look on surfguitar101.com in the show announcements area will be the list of all the bands throughout the whole summer. And then also it'll be on the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum website and Facebook pages.
Awesome.
And my Facebook pages. As soon as the flyer's ready for the next one, I post that up.
Even if you're not friends with Jeff on Facebook, you will see the post.
Yeah, for those who don't know me or haven't seen the videos before, it's Jeff Hanson, Hanson, aka Big Tiki Dude in italics or
Cool,
brackets or whatever those are called.
We'll
Thanks,
see you,
Ryan.
see you next week for our other interview.
Wink, wink.